following is a presentation of Washington and Lee women's basketball on 91.5 FM WLUR Lexington. Now let's go live to the gymnasium. Here is Jeremy Franklin.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the James R. Wilkins Jr. Athletics and Events Center here in Winchester, Virginia, the sparkling new facility that's only been open about 2 years as we get set for Old Dominion Athletic Conference women's basketball. It's round two in the 2019-20 season between the two teams that played for last year's ODAC championship, the Generals of Washington and Lee, on the road to take on the Hornets of Shenandoah. Jeremy Franklin with you for the broadcast tonight. These teams met 22 days ago in Lexington at the DTC. Shenandoah won the ODAC title against W&L last year. The Generals exacting a measure of revenge with a 69-55 win in the first regular season contest, 28-27 W&L. Early in the second half, a 15-2 run helped the Generals take control. Megan Horn led for W&L players in double figures with 16 points. Jordan Deal had a big second half, tied her career high with 14 points all after the break. And then Reagan Johnson had a double-double, the first of her career, 15 points and 11 rebounds to lead the way for Shenandoah. The Generals, as a result of that and some other big recent wins, part of a 7-game winning streak that has tied the program record. They are tied for first in the ODAC with Bridgewater and Emory and Henry. The Wasps are idle tonight, and the Eagles take on Harrisonburg area rival Eastern Mennonite. Washington in the league now 9-2 in the ODAC, 12-6 overall. Shenandoah chasing those top three at 7-3 in the conference and 11-6 overall. When they lost to the Generals, it was part of a stretch of 3 defeats in 4 games, but since then 3 straight wins all away from home. They beat Guilford on the road, got a non-conference win over Mary Washington, and most recently knocked off Roanoke 69-56 down in Salem on Saturday. Jordan Sondro has been playing some great basketball as of late, had 25 for the Hornets, knocked down 5 3-pointers in the win over the Maroons. The Generals got an 80-61 win over Eastern Mennonite, pretty much cruise control for Washington and Lee against a struggling Royals team. But Erin Hughes had a season-high 24 points in that game. She also had a nice 16.8 rebound effort in the last home game, the win over Roanoke last Tuesday, and as such was named the ODAC Player of the Week. Tonight's broadcast of Generals basketball coming to you live on WLUR Lexington, 91.5 FM, and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting. It is brought to you in part by the Washington and Lee University Store. Owned and operated by W&L, the University Store is located right on campus in Elrod Commons. The store features a wide range of apparel celebrating W&L, including the Peter Millar Collegiate Collection, offering polos and sweaters for your game day style. If you're looking for workout gear, we have a variety of performance apparel from Nike and Under Armour. All proceeds go back to the Washington and Lee community, helping to fund athletic, alumni, and student programs. The store is open 7 days a week. Order online anytime at store.wlu.edu. Starting lineups tonight, you could have penciled these in back in November. Both teams have used the same starting 5 in every game this season. For the Generals, that's Jordan Deal, the 5'9 sophomore from Springboro, Ohio. Megan Horn, 5'11 sophomore from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Andy Smith, the 5'10 senior from Charlotte. Taylor Casey, 5'7 senior from Brentwood, Tennessee. And Erin Hughes, a 5'10 junior from Raleigh. As Shenandoah controls the tap, we'll meet the Hornet starters as we go along here. We have a quick whistle, and shot clock did not start properly, and so here are the Shenandoah starters. Sierra St. Cyr, 5'4 sophomore from Temple Hills, Maryland. Sarah Donnelly, 5'2 senior from Altoona, Pennsylvania. Mackenzie Mathis, 5'9 senior from Walkersville, Maryland. Reagan Johnson, 5'9 sophomore from Washington. And Jordan Sondro, 5'10 senior from Waynesboro, Virginia. Hornets going left to right in the home white tonight. Generals in the road blue. Again, 69-55 W&L at the DTC. Just over 3 weeks ago, Reagan Johnson posting up, misses. Close range effort there. Megan Horn coming off a double-double against Eastern Mennonite with the rebound, but then a quick traveling call on Erin Hughes, and it will go back to the Hornets. 11 points and 11 rebounds for Horn, who has been playing the best basketball of her season in the last 5 or 6 games. Taylor Casey has not had a monster scoring game in the 2020 portion of the schedule. The Generals so balanced and so efficient on the offensive end. Jordan Sondro, right corner, long two, no good. Well short. Taylor Casey, the long rebound, but then her pocket picked by St. Cyr before she crosses midcourt. St. Cyr races in and scores. St. Cyr did a great job limiting Casey in the meeting in Lexington, and she's got a steal in the first points of tonight's game. 2-0 Hornets, 9:02 to play here in the opening quarter. Andy Smithy gets it foul line for the Generals. Smithy attacking on Johnson. Tries to hit the cutting deal. It's knocked away and stolen. Another early turnover for Washington and Lee. And let the Hornets return the favor by throwing it out of bounds. This is a Shenandoah team that is built on defense. They don't always force a ton of turnovers, but it is very difficult to score in the half court against them. They lead the ODAC and rank 14th in the country in scoring defense, only allowing 50.9 points per game. Those scores against Guilford and Mary Washington we'll get to in a moment as Andy Smithy draws a foul inside. Great look by Horn on the drive to set up Smithy, and Sarah Donnelly has to foul her. So Smithy will go to the free throw line trying to get the Generals on the board here. She's been shooting it well at the line in ODAC play in particular. 73% on the season, but that number ticks up quite a bit in conference games, and she's 2 of 2, makes them both here. 82% at the line in ODAC competition this year, 73% overall, still good for 11th in the conference. Tied at 2, 8:34 to play in the opening period. Hornets beat Guilford 46-42. They beat Mary Washington in Fredericksburg 44-32. Sarah Donnelly misses a long jumper. The Generals have the rebound. Horn fires it ahead to Casey. Comes out to deal away to Hughes, top of the key. Drive and dish looking for Smithy, and it's broken up by St. Cyr. Coming off the first double-double of her career, 14 points and 10 rebounds against Roanoke on Saturday. Already has a steal and another deflection on the defensive side. Generals basketball, the shot clock is at 20. Horn inbounding to Casey on the left sideline. Man-to-man look right now for Shenandoah. Casey backs out near midcourt. Starts in up the left side, muscles it up, no, looking for a whistle. And St. Cyr just defended that well. And the rebound out of bounds off of Jordan Deal. It'll be Hornet basketball. Jogged across by Sarah Donnelly. Away to fellow senior Mackenzie Mathis. 2 anchors for this Shenandoah team. Don't score a lot, but a big part of the Hornets' recent success. Into the lane to Johnson, and an errant pass back to the wing. Generals have been playing some pretty good defense as that goes out of bounds back to Washington and Lee. For a team that leads the ODAC in scoring offense, they don't need to put up Shenandoah-like numbers on the defensive end, but they are holding opponents to under 60 points per game during the win streak. Here's Deal from the right elbow. Deal attacking, ball stripped out of bounds to Washington and Lee. And again, Horn will inbound from the baseline. Still 2 apiece with 7:37 to play in the opening period. Into Casey, left baseline, hands to Horn. She'll launch the 3 from the corner and knock it down. Great inbounds play run by the Generals. Megan Horn has their first field goal, and it's Washington and Lee in front 5-2. St. Cyr at the other end, wing right side against Horn. The Generals also in man-to-man. St. Cyr attacking, dishing away to Sandro. Left baseline, 12-footer, good. First points for the Hornets leader, Sandro, 13.8 a game this year. Generals quickly get it inside to Smithy at the other end, away to Hughes on the right wing. Back out to Horn. Horn driving, layup, good with the right hand, went right through the seam of the Shenandoah defense. 7-4 Generals, 6:54 to play first quarter. Brought across by Donnelly, comes around to Johnson's screen, sends it out front to St. Cyr. St. Cyr ran into the back of Sandro, lost the ball, but recovers near midcourt. Now Donnelly away to St. Cyr. She'll launch a contested 3, won't go, and Jordan Deal, who leads the Generals in rebounds, grabs it there. At the other end, Casey gets a deep right corner on a long pass from Horn. Sandro catches up to her, no 3-point attempt for the number 2 player in program history and makes. Instead, Casey the drive and gets fouled hard as she releases the floater. And Taylor Casey, the ODAC leader in foul shooting, heading to the line as the whistle goes against Reagan Johnson. Taylor Casey, again, the production has not been all that high in the last few games. 9.8 points per game over the previous 5 for a player who is ranked in the top 5 in the ODAC in scoring the past couple of seasons. Stands out when she doesn't get to double figures, but it speaks volumes about the growth of this team. They don't need her to score 20 to have a chance to win. She hasn't really forced it in many of those games. She's let her teammates pick up the slack. She's such a focal point for the opposing defense. It's opened things up for Hughes and Smithy and Horn. And now Kate Groninger, who's in, Casey automatic at the foul line, hits them both 9-4, and got a traveling call on Kelsey Jones, who just entered the game for Shenandoah. The superstar field hockey player here for the Hornets, a role player for the basketball team. But a handful of early turnovers by SU. It's 9-4 Generals. Smithy away to Hughes on the right side. Hughes gets down the lane. Terrific pass back to Smithy. Two-player game worked to perfection there, and the Generals lead it 11-4. Up the floor comes Donley, sends it ahead to St. Cyr. Comes around to Jones, wing left side. Kelsey Jones, one dribble, gets it away to St. Cyr in the corner. Back out front to Olivia W&L. Elbow jumper is way off target for the Hornets' leading bench scorer, and the Generals have it. Pushed ahead to Kate Groninger in the corner. Back out to Hughes. Open right side three is good. And the Generals lead by 10. And Shenandoah head coach Melissa Smeltzer-Kraft needs an early timeout. What a start here for the Generals on the road. A double-digit lead with 5:25 to play in the opening period. We'll take a short break. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So be careful out there. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
911, what is your emergency?
My kid shot himself.
All right, where's the wound, sir?
911, what's your emergency?
Please help. My son shot his brother. 911, what is your emergency? 911, please state your emergency.
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns.
It wasn't locked.
Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Washington and Lee has opened up an early 14-4 lead. Early timeout called by Shenandoah as the Generals gave up the first bucket, but have since taken over. And another turnover, a traveling call on Olivia W&L. That is the 4th Hornet turnover. The Generals have knocked down 4 of their first 5 shots from the field. They're also 4 of 4 at the line. Aaron Addison is checked in. Gets it back from Kate Groninger on the wing. Smithy, Horn, and Hughes on the floor as well. Smithy trying to go to Horn, or Hughes rather, on the backdoor cut. It's poked out by Jordan Sondrel with his shot clock at 15. Baseline inbounds play for Horn. And she'll feed it into Groninger, away to Addison, ready to shoot right corner, and she cans the 3. Another make for the Generals, 5 out of 6. They're up 17-4 with 4:46 to play in the opening period here in Winchester. Hornets need a bucket. St. Cyr, tough one, blocked by Hughes. We got a held ball whistle, and it's going back the other way on the alternating possession. Generals converting it to one and getting after it on the defensive end. Taylor Casey is back in for W&L. Catherine Vandiver will check in for the first time, the 6'1" rookie out of Charlotte. Groninger deep right corner. She's been shooting the ball much better as of late after a cold spell. Now Hughes called for travel for the second time. Dragged the pivot foot just a little bit on the wing after the shot fake against Sondrel. Back to the Hornets, but a 17-4 Generals advantage. And here's Donley for SU. Long pass up the left side to St. Cyr, going inside to W&L. Spins around Vandiver, who recovers and blocks the shot, and gets a big pat in the back from 2 of her teammates there, Taylor Casey and Aaron Addison. We've seen that from Vandiver as of late. She's recorded a pair of 2 block games, considering that she doesn't get a ton of minutes. An impressive number. Hornets get it into W&L. Right elbow jumper is good. A desperately needed basket there for Shenandoah to break a 15-2 Generals run. Still an 11-point W&L lead. Vandiver gets it at the other end. Post up no against W&L. And the rebound knocked to Johnson. Up the floor comes Mathis in the top 5 of all time at Shenandoah in assist. W&L gets it at the foul line. The runner is way off target. In fact, an air ball that goes right out of bounds. Hornets looking very choppy on the offensive side. They don't score a ton, but normally pretty efficient on the offensive end. Second in the ODAC in field goal percentage. Hughes on the left wing, comes across to Groninger. Guarded by Jones, bounce pass to Vandiver, going inside to Hughes, leans around W&L and scores. Aaron Hughes, tough matchup when she gets into the low post. She is quicker than almost anybody who's going to be guarding her down there. 19-6 Generals, 3:28 to play first period. St. Cyr going inside to W&L, knocked away by Vandiver, stolen by Casey. St. Cyr looking to recover at midcourt, and the ball deflecting and rolling all the way to the opposite end of the floor, and they're going to say it was last touch by the Generals. Just a scramble sequence after the initial turnover there. Generals unable to maintain possession. St. Cyr out front, driving down low, layup no. Rebound, Jones taps to W&L. Groninger reaches in to knock the ball away. And it'll be out of bounds to the Hornets. Game clock at 3:03, shot clock at 17. And on the scoreboard, the Generals up 19-6. Baseline inbounds play for Jones. Into St. Cyr, layup no. Got a good look, got her own rebound. And then a reach and foul on the way back down will be the first of the game against W&L. I believe they've called that on Addison. Actually, nope, it's going to be Groninger, 14 and not 13. But again, team foul number 1 for Washington and Lee with 3 minutes left in the quarter. Horn, Smithy, and Deal have returned. Ball comes inside to Mathis. She's stripped on the way up. And then it deflects out of bounds off of Mathis. And it'll be Washington and Lee basketball. The Hornets 3 of 12 from the field in the early going. And have turned it over 6 times. The Generals have 5 turnovers, but they're 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. Addison away to Deal on the left side. Shot clock at 14, comes out front to Megan Horn. Horn picks up her dribble at the foul line, hands behind to Smithy. Smithy attacking, tough pass into traffic, stolen away. Trying to find Horn on the weak side, and the Hornets disrupted that. And they've got their 6th takeaway of this opening period. Jones on the left wing. Hands off to St. Cyr. St. Cyr to the elbow. Back out to Jones. She'll release the 3. That won't go. And the rebound tracked down by Deal. This is not a big three-point shooting team in the Hornets. The Generals lead the ODAC in percentage, ranked 2nd in makes. Casey gets it off a screen. Lane jumper rolls off the rim, no good. And Casey, the last to touch the rebound. It goes back to the Hornets. Kate Groninger replacing Aaron Addison with a minute 59 to go in the first quarter. Washington and Lee up 19-6. Generals on fire for a stretch there in this period. Now we've been stuck on the same score line for almost 2 minutes of game time. Kelsey Jones, wing right side for the Hornets. Into W&L. Posting up on Deal and misses badly on the hook shot. Good defense down low by Deal. Here comes Horn. Horn down the lane, feeds Smithy underneath the rim. Smithy, late recovery by the Hornet defense, and that made it pretty easy for Smithy to lay it up and in. Andy Smithy with 6. We are seeing defensive breakdowns from Shenandoah that you almost never witness from this Hornets team. 21-6 Generals. Johnson driving in top of the key, gets all the way home and finishes for her first points. Back to a 13-point margin, 1:09 left in the period. Casey, foul line extended on the left side, out to Smithy, into Groninger. Groninger posting up, kicks out to Deal. Open 3 is on its way, no good. Taylor Casey flying after the rebound, gets it, and gets fouled. Not a lot of whistles in this quarter. That's the 3rd team foul on the Hornets. First personal on Sierra St. Cyr. Generals will take it out with the shot clock at 20. 58 seconds left in the period. W&L up 13. Comes into Deal from Horn. Kick out to Smithy. Fakes the foul line jumper. Pulls up for an 8-footer. And that was halfway down. It would not stick. Rebounded by W&L. And the outlet to Donnelly with 47 to go. Ahead to Mackenzie Mathis. Mathis back to Donnelly on the wing. Out front to Johnson. Away to Jones. Shot clock is at 13. Johnson gets it back. Deal goes down. Johnson quickly feeding it inside to W&L. Got great position down low and lays it up and in. Shot clock off here for the Generals, up 11 with 20 seconds left. Horn driving, bounce pass inside to Smithy, and another hoop and a foul as well. That's the second time in this period that Andy Smithy, W&L's third leading scorer, has ended up wide open underneath the basket, and this time W&L came in and fouled her as well. Assist for Horn. Smithy knocks down the free throw. 9 first quarter points, 24-10. 14 seconds left for the Hornets. Donnelly has it out front, 8 to go. Still dribbling, now dishing off to Jones. 5 seconds left. Step back three is good with 2 seconds to go. And Generals will have to concede a shot like that. Jones only averages 2.3 a game, so she buries a three right before the buzzer, but a 24-point first quarter for Washington and Lee at the end of 10. It's the Generals up by 11 here in Winchester. You're listening to Washington and Lee basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Start of the second quarter, Washington and Lee 24, Shenandoah 13. Jeremy Franklin with you at the Wilkins Center here in Winchester tonight. Shenandoah leads the ODAC, ranks top 15 in the country in scoring defense, also first in the league in opponent's field goal percentage. But a great offensive first quarter for Washington and Lee. Kelsey Jones with the late three for Shenandoah, misses a three from the right side to open the second period. And the rebound knocked out of bounds by the Hornets. It'll be W&L basketball. Andy Smithy leading the way with 9 points. Megan Horn, 5 points and 1 assist. Aaron Hughes, 5 points as well. And the Generals shot 8 of 14 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3. And for good measure, made all 5 of their free throws. Kate Groninger, long three left side, up no good. Rebounded by Jordan Deal, an offensive board for W&L. Smithy gets it right elbow, away to Horn, ready to shoot left wing, and she hits one from the spot where Groninger just missed. Fourth tray already for the Generals, up 27-13, 9:18 to play in the first half. Groninger, Hughes, Deal, Horn, and Smithy against Sondrel, Jones, Mathis, Donnelly, and W&L. Olivia W&L gets it at the foul line. Trying to drive it on Smithy. The long leaner, no, but Smithy whistled for the foul. And Olivia W&L will shoot the first free throws of the night for the Hornets. Just the second foul that's been called on the Generals in this first half. Team fouls, of course, reset in the second and fourth quarters now in women's college basketball. So that's the first of the second period for W&L. W&L to the line. Knocks down the first. 84% foul shooter. Doesn't have enough attempts to qualify for the ODAC leaderboard, where she'd be up in the top 5. Knocks them both down. W&L has 6. She's the only Hornet right now with more than 1 basket. 27-15 Generals. Groninger inside to Smithy. Kick to Deal. Left wing Aaron Hughes. Hughes back out to Horn. Another three on its way. This one no good. And rebounded by St. Cyr. She'll bring it the other way for the Hornets. Now to Mathis. Lob underneath for W&L. Tough pass. Trying to get the right angle, and it's off of W&L's hands and out of bounds. 7 turnovers now for the Hornets. They are only 32% from the field. 6 of 19 so far. Jordan Deal, foul line extended on the left wing. Shenandoah in a matchup zone now. Groninger gets it out top. Left side Deal to Hughes in the high post. Hughes attacking, leaning. Shot blocked by Jordan Sondrel. Out of bounds to W&L with the Possession clock at 11. Sandro, the all-time leader in blocks for the Hornets program, the first player ever to record triple digits in that category. She's got 116 if that is counted officially as the block, and it should be. Hughes driving again, dishing away to Deal. Left corner, 3 on its way, and good. Washington and Lee 5 of 8 from beyond the arc. That's the first make for Deal. And a 30-15 lead for the Generals with 8 minutes to play in the second period. Here's Kelsey Jones driving, spinning, throwing up a 10-footer. It won't go. The rebound tapped out to St. Cyr. But then her pass back to the perimeter, stolen away by Groninger. Hughes in the open floor, a 3-on-3 offensive foul. Hughes trying to do too much. Made some contact with Chandrel and is whistled for the charge. Hughes checks out. Taylor Casey back in. Hughes at times this year has been turnover prone. She only has 6 total in the last 4 games while averaging 18 points during that stretch. 15-point Generals lead. St. Cyr on the right side. Out front to Sandro, who's got just 2 points so far after a 25-point effort in the win in Salem on Saturday. Mathis, the lob for W&L. Kick out to Sandro. Right side 3 is up. Won't go. Battle for the rebound. Jones got a piece. Believe it rolled out off the fingertips of Mathis. It did. Going back to W&L with 7:16 to play. Jones out. Donnelly back in for the Hornets. Washington and Lee continuing to shoot very well from inside and outside the arc. Groninger open left corner 3 against the zone. That's an air ball right into the hands of Megan Horn, who gets fouled. And if that's on St. Cyr, that's going to be number 2 on the Hornets' best on-ball defender, and it is. So Sierra St. Cyr in some foul trouble. And Megan Horn heading to the line already with 8 points tonight. She scored in double figures 5 times in the last 6 games, averaging 12.2 points and almost 5 assists during that span. And 20 of 26 from the foul line over those last 6 games. She is now 2 of 2. She made it both there. Horn only went to the free throw line 23 times total in the first 12 games of the year. Just much more aggressive and having a lot more success scoring the basketball on top of all the great assist work that she does. Now a block by Horn on St. Cyr, who tried to score down low, and then Horn is tripped up in the open floor. That's Mackenzie Mathis with her first foul. St. Cyr still out there with the 2 personals. She doesn't leave the floor a lot. Her minutes have been high all season and picking up even more as of late. 36.7 minutes per game over the last 3. Taylor Casey, deep right corner. Around it comes to Horn. Back to Deal. Generals up by 17 here. Aaron Addison gets it on the wing. Addison away to Horn. Shot clock at 14. Still time. Away to Casey. Deep left side 3 is good. Washington and Lee on fire from beyond the arc. That's the first field goal for Casey, who has over 200 3-pointers in her career. But the Generals are 6 of 10 from beyond the arc, and they lead it by 20. 6:15 to play first half. Post up for Chandrel, 2 points there. Got a good look one-on-one with Hughes. 35-17. Here's Deal driving in, kick out to Horn. She's open for a 3 ball. That one will not go. Battle for the rebound, and there's a foul on the Generals on Taylor Casey, which will be her first. Everybody feeling it, though, from beyond the arc so far tonight. The Generals, a 33% three-point shooting team this year. That's good enough for the top spot in the ODAC. They average over 8 makes per game. They've already got 6 here tonight, even with that miss from Horn. 35-17, 5:49 to play in the second. Kelsey Jones back in, handling the ball on the right wing. Away to Olivia W&L, picks up her dribble, hands to the cutting St. Cyr, who gets inside and scores. Good take there by St. Cyr. Hornets may be starting to find a little offensive rhythm, but the Generals still up by 16. Shenandoah sticking with the zone at least for now. Horn across to Hughes. Away to Casey, wing left side. Shot fake gets down low. Baseline floater is up, no good. And rebounded by Donnelly. Ships it up the floor to Kelsey Jones. Back out front to Sandro. Left side to St. Cyr. Away to Donnelly. Donnelly hands off to Jordan Sandro. Going inside for W&L. Y&L, nothing there. Has to get rid of it to Donnelly. Left wing Jones for three. That is no good. Rebounded by Smithy. Under 5 to play in the half. Aaron Addison ahead to Megan Horn. Horn, bullet of a pass inside. A great one to Aaron Hughes, who lays it up and in. Chalk up the third assist for Horn. Hughes has 7 points. 37-19, Washington in lead. Here is Donnelly, right side to St. Cyr. Gets it back from Jones. Gives it up to Jones. Jones inside. Sondrel the post up. The short jumper up and good. Just such a smooth offensive game for Jordan Sondrel. 37-21. Horn hits Smithy on the cut. And Sondrel impacting that shot if she didn't block it outright. The Hornets have the rebound. Jones at the other end, going inside to Y&L. The post up on Hughes, leans around her, goes to the other foot. Nifty move by Y&L. She and Sondrel starting to pick up steam as the Hornets try to work their way back in this game. Taylor Casey wide open left corner. Hornets catch a break as she misses the three. Aaron Hughes wrestles down the rebound. And now Horn going inside to Smithy. Layup, no. May have been tipped by Y&L. 37-23, 3:38 to play first half. Sondrel attacking at the other end. Kick out to St. Cyr, away to Kelsey Jones. Jones baseline drive, misses the layup, but the Generals are unable to control the rebound. It'll be out of bounds to the Hornets when we come back. Shenandoah starting to creep back into the contest. Still a 14-point Generals lead with 3:28 to play. Back after this, you're listening to Washington and Lee basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
3, 2, 1. Oh no. Which button am I?
When every second counts, you can't wing it.
Guys, a little help up here?
In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So make a family home fire escape plan. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year so everyone knows what to do when they hear. Prepare your family at ready.gov/fire drill. Brought to you by FEMA, the Ad Council, and Make Safe Happen.
Jeremy Franklin with you for our coverage of Generals basketball. It's Washington and Lee 37, Shenandoah 23 with 3:28 to play in the second quarter. W&L part of a three-way tie for first in the ODAC. The Generals, Emory and Henry and Bridgewater all 9-2. Shenandoah right behind that group at 7-3. And W&L already has a win over the Hornets at home, trying to sweep the season series against the team that beat them in the ODAC championship game last year. Hornet basketball, they've got Jones, Johnson, St. Cyr, Donnelly, and now Ashley Stone, the two-time All-ODAC selection who missed the postseason last year and still is recovering from a knee injury. That's the 5 on the floor for the Hornets against Addison, Hughes, Groninger, Vandiver, and Casey. St. Cyr wing right side around a screen, now driving down low, kicks away to Stone, gives it up to Donnelly, 7 to shoot. Here's St. Cyr going down the lane, stop and pop 10-footer is good. 6 for St. Cyr. A little 8-2 run for the Hornets to cut the lead down to 12. Addison at the other end, out front to Hughes. She'll fire up the three ball. That will not go. Catherine Vandiver tracks down the rebound. Generals are +6 on the glass so far tonight. And the shot clock back up to 20, although it's dwindling. It's already down to 10. Addison gets it on the right sideline. Addison, the lob away to Vandiver. Vandiver kicks to Groninger. Groninger shot fake. The leaner is up off glass and good. No, they're going to wave it off and say she traveled at first. Close to a shot clock violation, even if she hadn't taken steps. And now the Hornets starting to string together some stops after the Generals got everything they wanted offensively for the first 14-15 minutes of this first half. Stone left open out front, elects not to shoot. Inside it comes to Johnson, the post up, the leaner, no good because she's fouled by Vandiver. And Reagan Johnson will head to the line for 2. Getting stops at 1 and executing a lot better on the offensive side. Johnson, who had 15 and 11, even being limited by some minutes due to foul trouble against the Generals the first time around. Just 2 points so far tonight. First free throw here is up, no good. Only a 59% foul shooter. Her production's been down a little as of late, only averaging 6 points and 6 rebounds during the current 3-game winning streak But on the year, she's third on the team in scoring, 8.7 tonight, and leading the way in rebounding at 6.7. Checking something at the scores table prior to the second free throw here. .220 remaining in this first half. It's 37-25, Washington and Lee. W&L-Women in action tonight down in Emory, Virginia, taking on the Wasps of Emory and Henry. They went one way down Interstate 81. The W&L-Women's team went the other. It's 38-32 Generals with 6 minutes left in the first half there. W&L-Men have been playing some great basketball as of late, coming off a road win over Lynchburg on Saturday when the Hornets were 7-1 in the conference coming in. Johnson gets the second to go. The Generals lead down to 11. And we got a double dribble on Aaron Addison. So another empty possession for Washington and Lee, the 9th Generals turnover of this first half. Hornets can make this a single-digit margin after they were down by 18. Not going to happen here. St. Cyr, the lob pass inside was way too high. Stolen away by Groninger. It was intended for Johnson. At the other end, here's Hughes. Hughes down the lane. The leaner, good and one. 3-point play chance for Aaron Hughes. And that'll stop the Shenandoah run as the foul goes against Ashley Stone. Chance for Hughes to get into double figures in the first half here tonight. Again, the ODAC Player of the Week has been averaging 18 a game over the last 4. Now up to 14th in the ODAC in scoring at 12.2. Misses the free throw, so she'll stay on 9 points, and it's 39-26 Generals. Kelsey Jones at the other end, guarded by Deal out on the perimeter. Jones will give it up to Johnson. Johnson dribbling to the elbow, still has her bounce, but then ships it back out to St. Cyr. Around it comes to Donley. 7 to shoot. Donley driving baseline. Kick to Jones. 4 to shoot. Jones the crossover, the spin, and desperation heave is well short into the hands of Horn as time expires. Horn will launch it ahead to Taylor Casey, who's fouled in transition. Stone able to break up the layup, but that'll put Casey back at the line with 1:17 to go. 5 points so far for Taylor Casey. In the game over Easter Mennonite, became just the 9th player in program history to hit 1,200 points. A rare free throw miss for the ODAC leader, who's now 2 of 3 tonight, came in at 87%. Second one on its way and good. And a 40-26 Generals advantage. 1,209 career points now for the native of Brentwood, Tennessee. St. Cyr away to Donley. Right corner to Stone, about to hit the final minute of this first half with the Generals up 14. St. Cyr step back 3 off the dribble. No. Long rebound to Sarah Donley. And she can kick it back out to Jones. Back to Donley across to St. Cyr. St. Cyr pulls up right elbow. Misses another jumper. Hughes taps the rebound to Horn. 40 seconds left in the half. Horn up the floor against St. Cyr. Away to Hughes on the left side. Hughes driving right by Johnson. Gets to the rim and scores. Help defense not there in time. Hughes now is in double figures with 11, and the lead is back to 16. Shot clock is off here for the Hornets. 21 seconds to go. They had made some nice inroads after the Generals pushed the margin out to 18, but Washington and Lee has thrown a counterpunch. 12 seconds left. St. Cyr hanging out between the rings. Now starts ahead. St. Cyr the drive and wave off the layup. They're going to say a foul on the floor, and it's a really good foul. Well, maybe not. Thought the Generals were under the limit. They are not. That is team foul number 5. It did at least prevent what was about to turn into an open layup. St. Cyr with that full head of steam, but she will be shooting too. 65% free throw shooter. 3 straight games in double figures. Free throw off target here. So in that sense, it's become a good foul. It's only the first on Megan Horn. And at best, the Hornets will get 1 point instead of 2 with 8 seconds to play. Second one, good. 42-27. What can the Generals create in the final seconds here? Here comes Horn. 4 to go. Inside Vandiver. Kick to Hughes. Top of the key 3 ball is well short. And that'll bring the opening half to a close. But Washington and Lee against the best defensive team in the ODAC, hanging 42 on the scoreboard in the first 20 minutes on the road. Halftime in Winchester tonight. It's the Generals 42 and Shenandoah 27. We'll come back with more. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Halftime here at the Wilkins Center in Winchester tonight. Washington and Lee on top of Shenandoah 42-27 in ODAC women's basketball. Jeremy Franklin back with you. My guest here at halftime tonight is Will Wallace, the Assistant Director of Athletic Communications, who handles things on the women's basketball side. And good first half when you can put 42 on the scoreboard against the best defensive team in the conference.
Yeah, absolutely. We were saying during the commercial break that W&L started off pretty slow, only 2 points and no field goals through the first 2 minutes, but then the 17-2 run in the first quarter really exploding onto the scoreboard, and then an 11-2 run to start the second quarter. Definitely unexpected, especially the way that they came out of the gate.
I think the scoring breakdown, maybe what we've come to expect in the month of January for Washington and Lee. Taylor Casey, only 1 field goal and 6 points. She has become such a focal point of opposing defenses. But because so much attention is paid to Casey, it has opened things up for Aaron Hughes, opens things up for Andy Smithy, and I think fair to say Megan Horn. The Megan Horn we've seen over the past couple of weeks, maybe the best basketball she's played of her career, certainly of this season.
Absolutely, and 10 first-half points, 3 for 5 overall, 2 for 4 on threes, which is a very good sign to see from her, because it sets her up to drive through the lane, and 3 assists as well, no turnovers. So a very good first half for Megan Horn. And then Aaron Hughes, you mentioned in the first half, ODAC Player of the Week this week, 5 for 8 already, 11 points. It's been a very good last couple weeks for Aaron Hughes.
We had Christine Clancy on the W&L Sports Weekly earlier today. You can watch that at generalsports.com. We were talking about the up and down start to the season. This team brought almost everybody back. Andy Carandi was the lone player who graduated from a team that tied the school record for wins with 19, that would reach the ODAC championship game for just the second time in program history. So that means internal expectations and external expectations. And I think the Generals maybe struggle with that in the early part of the season. Not all the time. They had some great games. The wins over Randolph-Macon and Bridgewater, the road win over Mary Washington, obviously a great non-conference victory for Washington and Lee, but we're starting to see the Generals maybe manage those expectations with the way they played in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, and as head coach Christine Clancy said on the Sports Weekly today, I think the team did kind of come out a little slow, sort of expecting to be good and not necessarily expecting to have to work to get back to that championship form. And I think it was evidenced by their 5-6 start, a couple losses that were pretty surprising. But 7 straight wins to kick off the new year, undefeated in 2020 so far, and going for their program record 8th straight win today.
Again, our halftime score is W&L 42 and Shenandoah 27. I want to shift gears for just a moment, and your primary sport during the spring is Washington and Lee baseball, and we are less than 2 weeks away from the start of their season. It has gotten cold again. It's been so mild all winter, and now it actually feels like January, like we're about to turn the calendar into February. But the Generals slated to open the year at home against Southern Virginia on February 11th. Early prospects for Washington and Lee in 2020 on the diamond.
Yeah, so talking with head coach Ted White, he's pretty excited actually about the freshmen that they've brought in. Talking with him a little bit about what he expects the lineup to look like. There are a few first years in there. He expects 2 first years in the outfield, along with senior Ryan Monson out in right. And, of course, Carson McCoon, Jackson Thigpen expect to be the top 2 starters for ODAC doubleheaders on the weekends. So it'll be an interesting year. They had a very good offensive year last year, in my opinion, hit .301 as a team. 14-20 record, I don't think really showed the talent that they had because they lost a couple close games, and they had some late leads that pitching wasn't able to hold up. So it'll definitely be a fun year this year, I think. And
there is, of course, a direct connection from the women's basketball roster to the baseball roster,
right.
And that is Derek Hughes, the younger brother of Aaron, who is a pitcher for the Generals.
Yeah, I don't know much about Derek Hughes right now. Haven't gotten a chance to get Coach White's opinions on him, but expecting to do the season preview interview either sometime later this week or hopefully early next week. And that's going to be one of the questions I ask him is, who the top first years are, what he expects out of his first years. So, we'll see. Don't really know what Derek Hughes' role will be on the team yet, but we'll see.
42-27, Washington and Lee on top of Shenandoah at halftime here. I think we're in for a bittersweet moment in a couple of weeks. We were discussing this earlier today. We're down to 5 games remaining, 5 home basketball games in the Duchess-Waugh Tennis Center, which has been the temporary home for W&L basketball. The new indoor athletic facility is being built and slated to open this summer. It has been a different kind of environment for basketball, especially when we compare to where we are tonight, this spacious arena that Shenandoah opened 2 years ago. But it's been very comfortable, I think very cozy for games for both the women and the men over the past 2 years.
Absolutely. And you mentioned 5 games. It's actually only 4 home days left because of the doubleheader this Saturday. But as far as the temporary space goes, it's been great. A lot of the teams that have come to DTC, they've been pretty complimentary about it. We were talking earlier, the Shenandoah radio commentators enjoyed their experience there the last 2 seasons. It's been a great atmosphere, especially when we can fill the stands with students and fans. But definitely looking forward to getting into the new Doremus and the new the new Duchess-Waugh.
The new Duchess-Waugh Center will be the Duchess-Waugh Athletic and Recreation Center.
Right.
That will become the home of Generals Athletics starting this summer. Will, thank you for joining us here at halftime. We'll let you go and get back to your work filming some highlights of tonight's game.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
That is Will Wallace, the Assistant Director of Athletic Communications here at Washington and Lee. Halftime score in Winchester tonight, the Generals 42 and Shenandoah 27. First half stats, ODAC scores coming your way after this timeout.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is gonna help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth. A message from Truth, the Ad Council, and ONDCP.
Welcome back to the Dog Show. Up next, we have Satchmo. Satchmo is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right, a group known especially for their couch-snuggling, ball-chasing, face-licking, and, of course, companionship. Now, let's see him in action.
Look how he makes eye contact with his person.
That's actually known as the treat stare.
How intuitive, and now he appears to be excitedly turning in circles.
Ah, the happy dance so common with this group.
But really, the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Satchmo is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Washington and Lee on top of Shenandoah, 42-27. Halftime of tonight's ODAC women's basketball game here in Winchester. First half by the numbers. The Generals shoot 45% from the field, 14 of 31. They were at 43%, 6 of 14 from three. Actually missed their last 4 3-point shots of the half, 8 of 10 at the foul line. The Hornets, 11 of 32 from the floor, 34%, just 1 of 8 from three. They only average a little bit more than 2 makes per game, 4 of 6 at the foul line. W&L also plus 6 on the glass, 22-16. Had 11 second chance points off of 7 offensive rebounds. Turnover count, 9 apiece. Individually, the Hornets led by Sierra St. Cyr, 7 points and 6 rebounds. Actually, Olivia Wynell had a team-high 8 points off the bench tonight in that first half. Jordan Sondrel had 6 points, and then 3 apiece for Reagan Johnson and Kelsey Jones. Aaron Hughes leading the Generals with 11 points. We mentioned the stat line for Megan Horn, 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Andy Smithy had 9 points. All of those came in the first quarter. Taylor Casey, 6 points, 3 points, and 3 rebounds for Jordan Deal. The only bench scoring so far tonight, a 3-ball knockdown by Aaron Addison. Around the conference tonight, Roanoke leading Randolph 29-16 at halftime. Late second quarter, it's Lynchburg 30, Hollins 25. Easter Mennonite in Bridgewater just underway after those two teams played in men's basketball earlier tonight. Bridgewater, one of those 3 teams that are tied for first in the ODAC standings, even with the Generals and with Emory and Henry, which is off tonight, and then Ferrum and Guilford about to get underway in Greensboro. And then an update for you. The W&L men's game down in Emory tonight, halftime at the King Center. It's Washington and Lee 51 and Emory and Henry 39 as the Generals try to keep their streak going. Richie Manigault, by the way, leading W&L so far with 14 points. Generals on the men's side, 14-4 overall, 6-3 in ODAC play. They have won 4 in a row, and now 9 of their last 10 dating back to mid-December. W&L-Women looking to set a program record with an 8th consecutive win here tonight. They lead Shenandoah 42-27 at the half. Third quarter action comes your way after this timeout. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So be careful out there. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
911, what is your emergency? My kid shot himself. All right, where's the wound, sir?
911, what's your emergency?
Please help. My son shot his brother. 911, what is your emergency?
Okay.
911, please state your emergency.
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns.
It wasn't locked. It wasn't locked.
Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Start of the second half in Winchester tonight. Jeremy Franklin back with you. Washington and Lee on top of Shenandoah 42-27. The Generals trying to win for the 7th time in the last 8 meetings against the Hornets, the lone exception being that ODAC championship contest in Salem last year. W&L basketball as we get the third quarter going. Starting lineup out there for Christine Clancy's team. That's Deal, Horn, Smithy, Hughes, and Casey. Megan Horn gets it wing right side. Horn out front, still going. Horn attacking, dishing off to the wing. Deal gets it away to Casey. Deep three is up. Nobody. A foul is called on the release. It's on Sierra St. Cyr, which is her third foul, and it means 3 free throws for Taylor Casey. It was almost like a busted play there for the Generals. Horn's pass was in between 2 players, but Deal kept it alive. Fed Casey, who hits the first of her 3. Only made 1 field goal in that first half, the leading scorer for W&L. Second free throw good. She is now 5 out of 6 at the line. Third one is up and good. She missed once in the first half at the line. Very rarely does she miss more than 1 free throw in a game. And the Generals have matched their biggest lead of the night, up 45-27. Inside to Johnson, back out to Donnelly, who shoots the 3. That's no good. The long rebound to Horn. St. Cyr stays out there with the 3 fouls, but she will have to be careful. Casey gets it wing left side away to Hughes, across to Horn. Horn back to Casey, who's guarded by Donnelly this time, away to Hughes. Hughes driving baseline, feeds Horn away to Casey. Open right side 3 is up and good. Taylor Casey scores the first 6 points of the second half. Washington and Lee with a 21-point lead on the road. 8:53 to play in the third. Sondrel on the perimeter. Sondrel stops and dishes to Donnelly, gets it right back. Sondrel working baseline. Oh, she stepped out of bounds. Yep. Aaron Hughes defending on the play. Sondrel put a foot on the baseline right in front of one of the officials, and the Hornets turned it over back to the Generals. Horn driving, the floater is up, wave it off, foul first before the shot. It's on Mathis, her second. Also the second team foul on Shenandoah. 48-27 to Washington and Lee. Generals after that make from Casey 7 of 15 from 3. Ball comes into Deal. Deal the post up, leans around Donnelly. Layup, no, too strong. Good move by Deal, just could not finish. Back the other way comes Donnelly. The handoff to Mathis. Comes around to Reagan Johnson. Now St. Cyr on the left side. St. Cyr dribbling out front against Smithy. Swings it to the wing to Sondrel. Pass inside, deflected and stolen. Generals with the takeaway. Horn running the break. Inside to Smithy. St. Cyr and Donnelly reach in and tie her up, and the Hornets have the arrow. It was a gamble by St. Cyr, who again has the 3 fouls, but she got all ball, and the Hornets get possession back. They've got a steep hill to climb. This is not a team that is built to score in bunches. Now Mackenzie Mathis on the perimeter, dribbling right side, sends it out front to Donnelly. Left wing to St. Cyr. Away to Johnson, a high post. Inside out it goes. Mathis working baseline. Loves to pass from there. She's going to try to post up this time, and she does. She got Horn out of the way with a nifty shot fake. First points of the game for Mathis. 48-29. At the other end, Horn quickly inside to Deal. Layup too strong. A nice look, and Deal with another point-blank miss. Frustrated with herself that she could not finish there. At the other end, Sondrel gets it right side. Now St. Cyr top of the arc. 7:15 to play in the third, 48-29 W&L. St. Cyr the handoff from Sondrel, driving it on Horn, nothing there. Kick out to Jordan Sondrel, the leaner against Hughes, block shot. Sondrel recovers, shot clock is at 4. The kick to Donnelly, leans into a 3 top of the key that won't go. In fact, it didn't hit anything, and Mackenzie Mathis trying to save the ball in. But it's a shot clock violation on the Hornets. Sarah Donnelly is just not a big outside shooting threat on the season. 33%, but only 12 makes in 17 games. Now the officials will talk. It is possible. It seemed like that ball may have grazed the side of the rim. And that is what they have decided, but because there was a stoppage, they have to go to the possession arrow. And so it will be Washington and Lee basketball anyway. So no shot clock violation, but it is Generals basketball up by 19, just over 3 minutes into the second half. Ahead comes Casey, right side pass to Deal. Deal back out to Megan Horn. Horn around a Hughes screen. Pulls up at the elbow, swings it to the corner. Taylor Casey wide open there, but cannot hit the three. And Hughes over the back of Chandra really got away with one there. Going after the rebound, the two players tie up on the deck. And it will go to the Hornets on the alternating possession. The Shenandoah faithful here, frustrated and rightfully so. That was a tackle. And instead it's just a jump ball. It wasn't malicious. Hughes was going after the basketball, but to go after the ball, she had to jump on top of Jordan Sandrell. Mathis for Shenandoah. Handles out front, sends it right side to Kelsey Jones, who just checked in. Lob inside for Johnson, who didn't have a lot of touches in that first half. Hands off here to St. Cyr, layup good. Not sure if that was a play or just some improvisation, but it worked out very well for the Hornets. St. Cyr now with 9, and it's 48-31. Hughes attacking, layup is up, no good. And the rebound taken down by Mathis. Got to the rim in traffic. The layup would not fall. Kelsey Jones, wing left side. Sends it out top to Sandrell. Sandrell off the dribble, pops the three, good. That's her first of the night. They could use a lot more of that. Just the second three the Hornets have hit. 48-34. 7 unanswered for Shenandoah. Comes into Smithy, away to Casey, open in the right corner this time, and that's good. They cannot keep leaving her wide open. How that keeps happening, no idea, for a player who ranks second in the conference in makes and third in percentage from beyond the arc. 51-34. St. Cyr to answer well short. Long rebound to Megan Horn. 4-on-2 developing Horn. Bounce pass, thread the needle to Casey, but her layup won't go. A little bit out of control at the end. And here comes Mathis for Shenandoah. 5 minutes left in the third. 17-point Generals lead. Had that big run in the first half, and they've been up by double figures since. Johnson, the drive in on Smithy, way too strong on the layup. Smithy let her go at the last second. Johnson was clearly expecting a foul. At the other end, another great pass by Horn. Extra dish from Jordan Deal to Andy Smithy, who lays it up and in. One of the few times that we're doing a radio broadcast and wish you could have seen that string of passes. Megan Horn found Jordan Deal in stride. She was fairly open. Andy Smithy was unguarded under the basket, and the Generals get the transition bucket to push the lead back to 19. We've got a timeout on the floor. This is impressive from Washington and Lee, the way the Generals are looking against such a great defense away from home. 53-34 our score. We'll come right back to Winchester. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR Lexington 91.5 FM and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Generals up by 19, 4:41 to play in the third quarter. There have been 3 7-game winning streaks in program history, including the one the Generals are currently on. 2006-07, that ended in February with an overtime loss to Guilford. 2015-16, that team made it all the way to the ODAC semifinals before their streak ended against Lynchburg. 4 years later is a program record in the offing. Hornets have the basketball. W&L inside. Kick to Mathis. Left corner jumper. No good. Battle for the rebound. It's out off of W&L. And we've got another rapid fire timeout. The under 5 officially with 4:22 to play. So we'll take another short break and return to the Wilkins Center with Washington and Lee leading by 19.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Washington and Lee 53, Shenandoah 34, with 4 minutes and 22 seconds to play. In the third period, it's Generals basketball. W&L sending out Casey, Groninger, Horn, Smithy, and Hughes. Right now it's St. Cyr, Donley, Jones, Sondrel, and W&L for Shenandoah. Groninger on the perimeter. Dishes off to Casey. This time she's guarded closely by St. Cyr. The Hornets back to man-to-man. Hughes on the drive. She's fouled on the layup attempt. And free throws coming for the reigning ODAC Player of the Week. Whistle against Sarah Donnelly, her second personal. Aaron Hughes led all scorers with 11 points in the first half. Missed her only free throw. Comes in among the ODAC leaders in that category. 76.9% on the year is good enough for 9th in the conference. And she gets them both to go here to make it 55-34. I never saw her take the first one. That was very fast. Second one I can confirm went in. Either way, 21-point lead and a steal for Andy Smithy as the Hornets tried to work it inside. Swiped away the entry pass. And then the long dish from Casey ahead to Groninger is poked out by the Hornets. Vandiver, Deal, and Addison all enter. They will play with Horn and Groninger. 3:44 to play in the third. It's 55-34 W&L. Horn down the lane for the Generals. Runner no good. Johnson rebounds. Not a bad look there. She's got a big height advantage on St. Cyr, who was defending her on that play. Off the window, off the rim, just wouldn't drop. St. Cyr at the other end. Out top to Johnson. Johnson driving to the high post. Lob to the cutting W&L. Nice pass. And W&L takes advantage with the layup. Good assist for Reagan Johnson. W&L in double figures with 10. Vandiver gets it at the other end. Blocked by W&L, who comes down with the basketball. But the Hornets fumble the ball in transition. Unforced error that time. St. Cyr, not sure if she was not expecting the pass or if it was a little bit behind her, but either way, it goes out of bounds. Back to W&L. 3:05 to play in the third. 55-36 Generals. Looking to get to 10-2 in the ODAC. And at least have a share of first place at the end of the night. Bridgewater against Eastern Mennonite just down the road. Emory and Henry idle. Turnover here. Megan Horn ran into trouble in the lane. Donnelly took it away. Here comes St. Cyr. St. Cyr into the lane. Nothing there. Kick out to Jones, who's open for three and hits her second of the night. Kelsey Jones with the tray. It's a 16-point margin. Addison has it at the other end. Bad pass to the wing. Jones intercepts. Racing ahead in transition. Kelsey Jones with the layup. Personal 5-0 run to pull Shenandoah to within 14. Can't get sloppy if you're the Generals. 55-41. Aaron Addison, wing left side, away to Horn. 12 on the shot clock. Asked for the screen, little pick and roll with Vandiver, who was then sandwiched in the lane and ends up turning it over. The ball was loose. Vandiver dives down to try to save it, but ends up out of bounds on the play. Back to the Hornets, 55-41. 7 unanswered for Shenandoah. The last 5 scored by Kelsey Jones, who led all divisions in the NCAA in field hockey assist for a 17-4 Hornets team this fall. Reagan Johnson, right elbow for SU. Inside, W&L got open, lays it up and in. 9 straight for the Hornets, and they've cut the lead down to 12. Aaron Hughes, the drive and dish to Groninger. Left corner 3 is up, won't go. battle for the rebound, and it's out off of Deal. It's Shenandoah basketball. So good look for Groniger in the corner, would not fall. And momentum has swung back to the home side here. We've still got 11 and a half minutes to play. Minute 27 and counting remaining in this third quarter. Donley away to Jones. Back to Donley. Now Johnson at the foul line. Johnson driving it on Smith. He lays it up and in. And that makes it 11 unanswered for the Hornets. They're within 10. Addison for the Generals. Away to Hughes. Fakes the three. Gets it away to Smithy. Left side to Deal. Deal away to Addison. Wide open left corner. Missed everything. Shot that 2 feet past the basket. Jones saves the rebound and it comes to Deal. Hughes has her shot blocked by Reagan Johnson. And the Hornets come down with the basketball and then the Generals foul. Things are certainly going the way of the Hornets right now. They got lucky when they saved it in under their opponent's basket. You're taught never to do that, but Johnson bailed out her teammate with the block, and the Hornets, who've scored 11 unanswered, can make it a single-digit game on this possession. 44 seconds left in the third. Inside to W&L. The post up over Smithy, no, but she's fouled, hit on the hand on that play, and W&L, an excellent foul shooter, heads to the line for two. Jordan Deal, the help defender, called for her second personal. W&L, who's got a dozen points tonight, 2 of 2 at the foul line, shooting a couple with 34.1 seconds left in this third quarter. Generals seem to be rolling up 55-34, but the Hornets have come racing back. W&L does miss the first free throw here. Another chance to make this a 9-point game. Second shot is good. It's 55-46. Washington and Lee in need of some points to close out the period here. They've brought Taylor Casey and Megan Horn back into the game. Starting lineup out there now for Christine Clancy. Casey gets it out front against St. Cyr. About a 3-second differential between the shot and game clocks. Horn will get it to Smithy. 9 on the shot clock. Smithy squares to the basket. Dishes off to Deal. Deal, 4 on the shot clock. Away to Casey. Casey down the lane. The runner is up good at the shot clock buzzer with just 3 seconds left. Kelsey Jones, a 60-foot heave, would not have counted. It's well short anyway. Taylor Casey with a big third quarter. She had 11 points in the period, including that tough bucket to end the Shenandoah run and put the Generals back up by double digits. After 3 in Winchester tonight, it's Washington and Lee 57, Shenandoah 46. We'll be right back. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
3, 2, 1. Oh no. Which button am I?
When every second counts, you can't wing it.
Guys, a little help up here?
In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So make a family home fire escape plan. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year so everyone knows what to do when they hear. Prepare your family at ready.gov/fire drill. Brought to you by FEMA, the Ad Council, and Make Safe Happen.
57-46 Washington and Lee as we begin the fourth quarter. Generals do have the basketball to get us going once again with Casey, Horn, Deal, Hughes, and Smithy. Washington and Lee up 21 midway through the third quarter. The Hornets got it within 9 before Casey got the last 2 of the period. Aaron Hughes out front, away to Casey. Quick release on the 3. It is blocked by St. Cyr, and Mackenzie Mathis comes away with the basketball. Those two out there with Johnson, Jones, and W&L. And talk about this Hornets team being slow and methodical. They almost came back from 18 down at home in their last game here in Winchester. That was against Bridgewater 2 weeks ago. Kelsey Jones misses the runner, and then a frustration foul as Hughes grabs the rebound. First on Jones, and of course team fouls reset at the beginning of the second and fourth periods. Bridgewater was up 18 in the fourth period with about 9.5 minutes to go and had to hang on for dear life for a 2-point victory. The Hornets just ran out of time in their comeback bid. Aaron Hughes, the drive and dish. A bad pass and a turnover. Tried to thread that through two Hornet defenders. One of them knocked it down, and the other one, Mathis, picks it up. 9 minutes to play. 11-point Washington and Lee advantage. Mathis working baseline. Lob to the corner to Jones. Dribbling on the wing. Kicks it back out to St. Cyr. Shot clock at 8. St. Cyr around double screen. St. Cyr caught up to by Horn. Gives it up to Jones. Fires up a tough three and banks it in. Kelsey Jones has 11. That ties the career high she set against W&L the regular season game in Lexington last year. 57-49, as close as the Hornets have been in this second half. At the other end, Deal foul line extended. Back out top to Megan Horn. She'll try a deep three. That's no good. That's a settle, and St. Cyr has the rebound. Generals, who were looking in rhythm, so smooth on the offensive end most of the night. Things have gotten stagnant, and the Hornets have found a way back in this game. Johnson away to Jones, left corner. Gets it back down low. Smithy tried to jump the passing lane, but made contact with Johnson and picks up her second foul. Jordan Sondrel hit 1-3 in the third quarter. Wasn't really a big part of the rally. She's back out there now. Kelsey Jones, the baseline inbounder, gets it into Sondrel. Back to Jones on the wing. Jones guarded by Casey. Gives it up to W&L. Inside Sondrel. Kick away to Mathis. Mathis going down the lane but misses the shot. Jones grabs the rebound. Gets tied up by Deal. It's going to stay with the Hornets. Mathis' layup attempt did not draw iron, so the shot clock is at 6. Inbounding is Jones. Comes into St. Cyr. Not sure if she realizes the shot clock now. She does. St. Cyr away to W&L. Left baseline jumper good right as the buzzer sounds. It's a 6-point game. 7:39 to play. An extended run for the Hornets here of 17-2. It was 55-34 Generals. Now it's 57-51. Smithy gets inside, has her shot blocked. Washington and Lee wanted a whistle, didn't get it. St. Cyr in transition. Layup is no good. And the Generals come away with the basketball. Taylor Casey driving, dishing to Smithy. Smithy down the lane. Layup good. A desperately needed basket there for Washington and Lee. And then we've got a stoppage because St. Cyr is down injured at the other end of the floor. And in some pain here, this could be bad news for Shenandoah. St. Cyr, the sophomore from Temple Hill, Maryland, rarely leaves the floor, even though she's been in some foul trouble tonight. And averaging 36.7 minutes during the Hornets' 3-game winning streak. A good sign for Shenandoah. She's up and walking back toward the Shenandoah bench here. It's 59-51 Generals with 7:08 to play. But the Hornets, even though they just gave up the transition basket to Smithy, have scored 17 of the last 21 points in this game. Sarah Donnelly back in place of St. Cyr. If she's able to get back out there, she will. Being stretched out behind the Hornet bench right now. Donnelly jogs it ahead, guarded by Casey. Lob ahead to Jordan Sondrel. Away to W&L at the foul line. W&L attacking, and Hughes reaches in and takes the ball away. Megan Horn transition ahead to Casey. It was 2-on-3. The Generals will wisely slow it down. Right side, Horn. Quickly got by Sondrel, has to foul her. Megan Horn, that great first step, able to get to the rim. And she will shoot 2 with the clock stopped at 6:43. Horn is yet to score in this second half. Until now, first free throw good. For the game, she's got 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. In fact, only 2 Generals have hit field goals in the second half. They are Casey and Smithy. Horn gets the 2 free throws to go. Aaron Hughes also has a pair of foul shots. But that's all the scoring for W&L since halftime. It's 61-51. The lead back to 10 on the free throws for Megan Horn. Jordan Sondrel dribbling right side, sends it out top to Donley, left wing to Jones. Away to W&L. Foul line jumper is up, no good. Rebounded by Horn, who's got a second straight double-double now. 10th carom of the night for the sophomore. Aaron Hughes on the right side for the Generals. Hits the cutting Horn, pulls up. 10-footer, no good. Rebound to Donley. You'll take that look if you're Washington in the lead. It just doesn't fall. 6 minutes to play. 10-point Generals advantage. Kelsey Jones on the left wing. Out front to Jordan Sondrel. Around a W&L screen. Generals defend the pick and roll well. The ball stays on the outside. 9 on the shot clock. W&L left elbow. Away to Mathis working baseline. Layup is up, no good. And rebounded by Hughes. At the other end, Taylor Casey gets it over to Hughes. Hughes takes it down the lane. We've got a reach-in foul on W&L, who was beaten on the play. Picks up her second. That's the third team foul. 5:34 to go in a 10-point game. Groninger replaces Casey, and St. Cyr is back out there now for Shenandoah as off comes Kelsey Jones. Megan Horn inbounding from down low. Comes into Jordan Deal. Jordan Deal double-teamed under the rim, so gets it back out to Smithy. Smithy the drive and dish to Horn. Away to Groninger, and Groninger travels. Shenandoah flying after the basketball here, taking away some potential three-point looks. And Groninger got happy feet. That's the 15th Generals turnover tonight. 61-51 W&L. 5:18 to play here at the Wilkins Center. Donley has it on the wing for the Hornets. Away to St. Cyr. St. Cyr into the lane. Pulls up. 10-footer off glass. No good. All the way around the rim. Would not go. And Deal keeps it away from Mathis on the rebound. Horn runs the floor. And a tough pass trying to feed Hughes. It was well read by St. Cyr. Another turnover. At the other end, a W&L left baseline. Gets into the lane. The post up, no. And the rebound out of bounds off the Hornets. Still a 10-point margin with 4:47 to play. We've got a timeout on the floor. Washington and Lee trying to hold off a second half fight back from Shenandoah. It's the Generals 51 and the Generals 61, beg your pardon, the Hornets 51. You're listening to Washington and Lee basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest, cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
10-point Washington in the advantage. Generals have the basketball. 4:43 and counting to play here in the fourth quarter in Winchester tonight. School record 8-game winning streak for Washington and Lee if the Generals can see this one out. Megan Horn, left side, three is up, an air ball. Not sure that's the shot the Generals should be taking there. St. Cyr was in the vicinity with a hand in Horn's face. Hornets have it. Mathis on the outside, gets it away to Sondrel. Sondrel working baseline against Smithy, feeds the cutter, that's Mathis, and then Horn just rips the ball away. Nothing in transition, this time Horn will settle. What a great defensive play that was by number 11. Aaron Hughes on the left wing, out top to Groninger. Comes across to Horn. Now Casey top of the key. Left side to Kate Groniger. Inside to Smithy. Posting up on Johnson. Turnaround 6-footer good. That is the Andy Smithy specialty. So tough to defend. And Smithy with 15 tonight. The lead is back to 12. 3:35 remaining. Johnson left elbow going inside Sondrel. Double teamed and the ball knocked away. She tried to kick it out. Groninger got the deflection and the Generals come away with it. Some really good defensive possessions for Washington and Lee down the stretch after the Hornets had pulled within 6. W&L up a dozen with the basketball. Horn on the right wing out to Smithy. Away to Casey. Casey backs out, 9 on the shot clock. Now Casey starts in. Dish away to Smithy. Fakes the 15-footer, pulls up from 10, and knocks it down. Andy Smithy has all 3 of the Generals' field goals in this quarter. 17 points in the game, but it's 65-51 with 2:50 to go. Mathis inside for Sondrel. Sondrel got it away to Johnson, who was open down low. The defense collapsing on Sondrel. That left Johnson free. Just her 3rd basket tonight. 65-53, 2:35 remaining. Hughes at the other end, out top to Horn. Generals just running some clock right now. Hughes up at the top of the arc with 12 to shoot. Away to Megan Horn. Back out to Smithy. Smithy will give it back to Casey. 6 on the shot clock. Smithy sets the screen. Casey off the dribble. Away to Groninger. She doesn't realize the shot clock is about to expire, and it does with the ball in her hands. Late shot clock execution, a little bit lacking there for Washington and Lee, but the Generals did take 30 seconds off the clock. We're down to 2:10 remaining, and it's still a 12-point W&L advantage. There are worse things than taking a shot clock violation given the time and score. Running down the floor and jacking up a bad 3 2 seconds into the possession. I think you'll take the shot clock violation over that. I'm not saying the Generals have done that tonight, just saying that could have been worse. Johnson gets it for Shenandoah. Away to W&L, top of the arc. The Hornets taking a lot of time, and they don't really have that luxury right now. Now Donnelly, drive and dish to W&L, who knocks down the 12-footer, but that took 23 seconds to create, and it's still a 10-point lead with 1:41 to go. Taylor Casey across to Megan Horn, right side to Deal. Deal out front to Aaron Hughes, who backs out. Swings it over to Casey on the left side, 11 on the shot clock. Clear out for Casey against Donnelly. Bounce pass ahead to Smithy, squares to the rim, gives it off to Deal. 3 to shoot, Deal on the drive, broken up by the Hornets. Deal ends up on the deck with a basketball and a second straight shot clock violation for Washington and Lee. 1:13 to play now, 65-55. Neither purposeful. And the Generals wanting to shorten this game and accomplishing that, even though they have not gotten a shot at the end of the possession. They get a steal here. Johnson tried to throw the ball through the entire W&L defense to Kelsey Jones making the cut, and that's an easy one for Aaron Hughes to pick off. 53 seconds left, 10-point margin. Will the Generals take a 3rd straight shot clock violation? Megan Horn has it, 11 to shoot. Nope, a steal for Shenandoah. Takeaway by Deandra Mundell. 4-on-1 for the Hornets. Mundell layup good with just 37 seconds to go. That makes it an 8-point game. Generals do not spend a timeout. They'll bring it up. Will the Hornets foul? Initially, it looks like no. They need to commit 2 more to put the Generals at the line. Not going after it right now. We're down to 23 seconds left. Here's Deal, the pass to Hughes. Away to Horn. 10 on the shot clock. Casey, a long 3, no good. And rebound loose on the sideline. Horn saved it in, but it comes to Jones, but under 10 seconds to go. Hornets work it ahead to Mundell, fires up the jumper. That's no good. The rebound to Deal, and that'll do it. Shenandoah electing not to extend the game. Curious that they don't foul with over 30 seconds left in an 8-point margin, but the Generals, I don't think, are going to file a complaint. Washington and Lee has won 8 straight games for the first time in the history of the women's basketball program. The Generals get to 10-2 in the ODAC with 6 games left in the regular season. Our final score in Winchester tonight, W&L 65 and Shenandoah 57. We'll take a break and come back to wrap this one up. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
8-game winning streak for the Washington and Lee women's basketball program. That is a new school record. And the Generals, who are still perfect in 2020, perfect in the month of January, they'll finish with an 8-0 record since the new year started and head into February 10-2 in the ODAC and 13-6 overall. Shenandoah falls to 7-4 in the conference and 11-7 on the season, and another tiebreaker for Washington and Lee. If the Generals should stumble a bit and the Hornets catch up to them, Washington and Lee would have the head-to-head advantage based on the 2 victories over the Hornets. Tonight's broadcast of Generals basketball here on WLUR and WLUR All Access has been brought to you in part by the Washington and Lee University Store. Celebrate your favorite Generals team with a sports tee, decal, or hat. If you can think of it, we probably have it. The store is open 7 days a week. It is owned and operated by Washington and Lee. All proceeds go back to the W&L community, helping to fund athletic, alumni, and student programs. Order online anytime at store.wlu.edu. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for exclusive online promotions. Go Generals. Take a look at some stats in just a moment. First, some scores to pass along. Update for you from the men's game. 7:19 to play, second half. It's Washington and Lee 86 and Emory and Henry 72. The Generals looking for their 10th win in their last 11 games, trying to get to 7-3. In the ODAC on that side, Lynchburg all over Holland, 71-45 with 3:46 to play. It's Roanoke 59, Randolph 31 late in the fourth quarter in Lynchburg tonight. Guilford leading Ferrum 40-25, 7:44 to play in the third. Late first half at Bridgewater, one of the teams the Generals enter tonight with tied for first. The Eagles down a point to Eastern Mennonite, 29-28. Washington and Lee, the offense certainly not as fluid in the second half, and credit the Shenandoah defense again. Best in the ODAC, number 14 in the country in scoring defense. They also lead the league in opposing field goal percentage. They made life difficult for Washington and Lee, but the Generals did what was needed. Their defense stepped up big time in the fourth quarter in particular, and then W&L hit its free throws, 15 of 17 tonight, including a perfect 7 of 7 in the second half. Shenandoah ends up shooting a higher percentage than W&L, 41%, 24-58. Washington and Lee at 38%. The Generals were 8 of 23 from 3. Shenandoah just 4 of 14. And again, the foul shooting a big difference tonight. W&L 15 of 17. The Hornets 5 of 8. Shenandoah got 17 points from Olivia Wydell, and then 11 points from Kelsey Jones. All told, 30 of the Hornets' 57 points came from their bench tonight. Sierra St. Cyr finishes with 9 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Jordan Sondrel with 9 points. Reagan Johnson had 7 points and 4 assists. Then Mackenzie Mathis with 2 points for Shenandoah. 4 in double figures for the Generals tonight. Andy Smithy and Taylor Casey each finished with 17. Casey did most of her damage in the third quarter as she had 11 points in that frame. Casey finishes 4 of 12 from the field. Smithy was 7 of 13. 13 points for Aaron Hughes, along with 5 rebounds and 4 steals. And then a second consecutive double-double for Megan Horn tonight. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. Jordan Deal had 3 points and 7 rebounds, and only 3 points off the bench tonight. Those came way back in the opening period on a triple knockdown by Aaron Addison. So the Generals keep things rolling again. A perfect January for Washington and Lee, 8-0 this month, and they will not play again until February, just 3 days away when they return home to take on Guilford. Both Generals basketball teams play host to the Quakers on Saturday. It will also be Senior Day for both Washington and Lee basketball teams. You can watch both of those games on the W&L Sports Network at generalsports.com. The men tip off at the Quakers at 2, and the women's game will get going at 6 p.m., and we hope that you'll join us then. Our next Generals broadcast on WLUR and WLUR All Access 2 weeks from tonight, Wednesday, February 12th, when the W&L men's team takes on Roanoke down at the Kreger Center in Salem. Our thanks to Tony Ann Wong back in the WLUR studio, as well as to Andy McEnroe and the fine folks at First Team Broadcasting. I'm Jeremy Franklin saying so long from the Wilkins Center in Winchester. Thanks for listening to this presentation of Generals basketball on WLUR and First Team Broadcasting. Our final score in ODAC women's hoops tonight, Washington and Lee 65 and Shenandoah 57.